I'm really excited about this win for a lot of reasons. And, UC Irvine, they're a good team. I mean, you can see that, for the conference they come in and where they're from and, winning 24 games. They have championship pedigree. Like, that program wins every year. And they're big, they're physical, they're rugged. They play a lot of guys. So on a quick prep, right? I mean, we find out at like 7:45, 7:50 on Sunday night, and it's Tuesday. So in less than 48 hours, well, I guess in this case, because we played at 9, it was a little over 48 hours, 49 hours. But it's a quick prep for your guys. Now, obviously, when you're playing game, whatever it is, 31, 33, game 34, right? They're used to our routine. You kind of know, but these guys are different. We haven't played a team necessarily exactly like this. So they do a great job throwing it inside. I thought we had to be on point. We were really changing up screen roll coverages. I thought they hurt us some with that. We were really cooking on the offensive end. In that first half, we were at over 1.3 points of possession. We finished the game 1.23 points of possession, which is very good. We had that lead. I thought a big part of this game was going into halftime, right? We call a play for Gabe. We executed it perfectly. Of course, Gabe comes off that thing like he does and sticks that thing, and we were able to get a stop and then come down there. I think we got the rebound with 5.4 seconds to go and made that outlet, and Gabe did a really great poise by Gabe to come down and really drive his toes into the ground and not rush that shot. And obviously, when he shot it, I think the whole gym probably thought it was going in. It certainly looked good from our angle and sticks it. So now you go up 6, and I thought it just gave us some real momentum. And then that second half, I thought we did a really good job on both ends of the floor. Obviously, we were up 13. We started missing some front ends. I think Cole missed the front end. Gabe missed 2 front ends. Had some senseless turnovers, right? I thought 2 of our turnovers were just over dribbling. Kind of, when you're up 13, what's the other team going to do? Probably come in there and try to make a play. And they did, and we turn it over, and then they get going in transition where it's a kind of a scrambled court, and they made us play. Gabe gets that 2-handed rebound and throws it right to them. And, I mean, he's so mad at himself right now for that. But on the flip side of that, when you lose a lead like that, I think they went on a 15-4 run, and they have a lot of momentum there. And now that lead's cut to 4, when you felt like you were really in control, I was proud of how we responded. We executed 2 plays for BC. BC did a great job of winning those catches. Obviously got fouled and goes 4 for 4, in those scenarios. And then I thought we held firm defensively. They made one very tough shot. They just kind of like number 3, Cockrow, where it kind of rolled in, but we were able to finish the game out. So a lot of good performances. Like I said, 23 assists, ties the season high. Really proud of that, though, just the way we played connected, and I thought we played well for each other. 11 block shots, which is a season high. I thought we did a pretty good job of protecting the paint, all in all. Of course, Deivon and Brandon Carlson, both with double-doubles. Thought they played really good games. Obviously, a couple turnovers there late, but then I thought Hunter Erickson was really good again tonight. That's... Hunter go 3 for 3 from the 3, 5 for 8 from the field, and I thought he was excellent defensively. He's a bulldog out there, and he's played, I think the last 4 games he's played very, very well, and it's just had a different look to him, and so that was fun to see. And then Gabe, that was very sound all the way around, 7 rebounds, 5 assists, 0 turnovers with 15 points. So a lot of good efforts from a lot of people, but I just thought we played really, really hard. Got to get better defensively. That's been a little bit of 1.1 points of possession. I thought we did tighten up some in the second half, but we just got to continue to get better because it's not going to get any easier against a good Iowa team.
Before we go on questions, 11 blocks is tied for the 3rd most in a single game. And then we'll just...
In the history of Utah?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
I'll call on it just because there's quite a bit of Josh going.
Greg, you get win number 20, which is the first time Utah's done that since 2017. I mean, how important is that to you personally, just to be able to kind of get to that milestone in your 3rd year?
Well, thanks for bringing that up. I hadn't really talked about that to the team, quite frankly, at all this year. And we, we had a great team meeting on Monday, and talked about a lot of different things. And I said, in the media, I think the other day, it was just yesterday, I guess, right? I think at the end of the day, just these guys' friendships with one another and brotherhood with one another, and they truly care about one another. Like, it's not just lip service when I talk about that. It's a real thing. It's pretty cool. And so, now we're in a Sweet 16, right, of the NIT, and we got a good home game. But the first time I talked about 20 wins, quite frankly, is we had it on the marker board, not even in the pregame talk. After we had we went out for the anthem, we came back in, and kind of our last get together before we hit the floor, and I put that up on the board as they went out the first time, but we put it on there and said, we've only have 3 or 4 guys on our team that have ever been a part of 20 wins at the Division I era. So it's pretty cool, and it's hard to do. It's not easy to do. And so we're able to do that. We're excited about it, and it was good for our guys to experience that, and now we want to get 21.
Great. Sorry. For as efficient as you mentioned the offense being, it seemed like a lot of a defensive game for you guys as well, especially with Brennan and his 5 blocks, which he's had. Which is something how he's had a couple other times, I believe, this season, or at least in his career. But, how impactful is it when you have Brennan being able to protect the rim in that way? I think coming in, it was about 1.5 blocks a game, and obviously today surpassed that by a lot.
Well, I mean, obviously him being, and the tradition of our school with big guys. I mean, it's pretty amazing. And so being the all-time leader in block shots, at the University of Utah, I think says a lot about his skill, his timing, his instincts that way. He's kind of doing it at a different position, which in a way, in my eyes, is even more impressive, right? Now against these guys, they do post up 2 big guys a lot. So it kind of feeds into, us a little bit. But we're really good at protecting the rim as a team, right? When you have BC, I mean, Ben's a big-bodied guy, obviously not a great shot blocker, but he's big and sturdy. And then when you have Gabe and Lawson in there, I mean, Lawson has the one today, right, on a good low-post score who hurt us, especially that first half. But he gets his 3rd foul, and they go right to him, and he just stands there and walls up. He's a big man. So we're hard to score on in the paint when we're really locked in. And so tonight you could just see it, BC. He just doesn't want it to end. Like, he's had you guys all saw, he's just such a great look to him. When we came to practice on Sunday, oh my goodness. Like, if there was one guy that just popped on our team, it was Brandon. And I'm not trying to, like my kids would say, I'm not trying to gas him up. Like, he just popped. And so I just thought that told us everything we need to know. Right? And the dude's got a lot of pride and love. Of course, he loves playing and loves playing at home, but he was really good tonight in every facet.
You talked about Hunter already, these last few games that he's had 3 double-digit games in a row. That's more than he's had the rest of the year. I mean, is there something that you can kind of pinpoint that's kind of led to this confidence that you've seen out of him these last few games, or is it just kind of getting more familiar, or what?
Man, that's a great question. We had a real heart-to-heart, I'll tell you that, after the Oregon State game. I don't know, maybe that had something to do with it, but this is the Hunter Erickson we recruited, where he can do it. The guy, he knows how to play. He can play. He's always been pretty good defensively, but now he's just playing. And confidence is an amazing thing. It's hard to give someone confidence. You try to provide it the best, but you got to go do it. Man, he played really well against Oregon. I don't think he had double digit. I think he had 8 maybe against Oregon, but he's been playing well. And he's another ball handler for us on the floor. It's not always a huge strength of our team, besides obviously Deivon. And so when you play those 2 together, now you have 2 guys that can make some plays consistently off the bounce. Gabe's gotten better that way, certainly, than he was the last 2 years. But we need that kind of spark, and he's been very, very good.
With Hunter, are you using the NIT at all to kind of give yourself a little bit more room to project what he'll be for you next year, or no?
Well, I know what he can be, and he's finally and he's playing like it, right? And he's had spurts, but his roles kind of changed throughout the year a little bit, right? Early on, he kind of knew what he was, and then the 5th year, and then the multi-year transfers able to play. So then Deivon came in, and remember Raleigh was still playing at that time, so then his minutes kind of got down. And then, of course, Raleigh gets hurt, so then his minutes are kind of back up, and he just kind of had different roles, and you learn to play with different guys. So, you know, I know a lot of people approach it like that. Like, listen, I've always viewed playing, and I think somebody asked this the other day, there was never a doubt in my eyes if we're going to play in the NIT. It's another, like, these guys, they're training and everything that goes into it to be able to play. And if you're a competitor and if you love to compete, you get to play basketball. Like, now, not everybody's always as zestful as that, right? But yeah, it's a way for us to keep growing as a program, to keep developing. It's a way for these guys to get real minutes, right? Cabo's going to learn. Like, Cabo did some really good things tonight. Now he's going to think about a couple other things because he's a real competitor. I mean, he did some really, really good things tonight. I thought he had best game his post defense tonight. I thought was outstanding, and so these game reps, these real playing. That's how you improve when you're on the floor and you're playing real meaningful games. So yeah, for Hunter to be able to play these minutes and Caba and Lawson, but just right down the line for everybody, right? It just matters. It just matters, and so. Now we got an exciting game coming up, and when you get to postseason play, a lot of these guys have never played postseason basketball. If I'm being real about it, a lot of our guys have never played in the postseason. So it's a different vibe, it's a different feel. And so to be able to live that and go through that thing, I think you learn things about yourself, and you learn to find a way to be comfortable being uncomfortable, where it's, you know, win or go home.
Obviously, you guys have Iowa in the next few days. In order to advance again in the tournament, what do you feel like your team needs more of, and what do you feel like your team needs less of?
So I haven't watched Iowa this year. I was in the Big Ten for 2 years as an assistant. I always had their scout. And Fran McCaffrey's been I think he's the all-time leader in wins at the University of Iowa. That's hard to do for any school. He's done an unbelievable job. I just remember them really getting up and down the floor, playing through the pass, having shot makers everywhere, a lot of freedom in their offense, a lot of motion stuff. They're just really sound defensively. Don't make many mistakes on that end of the floor. I have no clue on this team. I just know what I've seen in years past with their teams. So, you know, Alex, I just think for us, it's always about connectivity. That's what I'm with the 23 assists tonight. I'm really proud of that. Like, to be able to do that tonight, I think just says a lot about where we're at mentally. I just think that's a big, big thing. But at the end of the day, you know, you've been around me, and I just defense and rebounding, right? I thought tonight there were too many where they had some long shots, and you guys saw it, where we didn't necessarily box out or just was slow to the ball on those 50-50 long rebounds. You got to be able to come up with those balls, right? And that's always been a staple of our teams, is to be able to end possessions on the defensive end. And then we just got to have more consistency. When we really stretched it out to 13, it's because we got stop, and then we were able to score in transition, right? So I think connectivity on both ends of the floor, but the way we share the ball, and then we just got to be consistent on the defensive end and rebound.
Yeah, for both of you guys, how important is it just to get this first win, just to kind of get that off your back and now focus a little bit more on it?
Yeah, you know, it feels good, obviously, to start off with a win. And if you don't win, you're done. So just could build a little momentum. And, you know, it was nice to be the 2 seed, knowing you get to play another one at home. So it'll be a fun one against Iowa.
Obviously, you guys collectively had a good defensive effort, but Gabe with the 5 blocks. You know, from Brandon.
I was gonna say.
Sorry.
Blocks, jeez.
It's almost midnight.
That's good.
No, you're good.
Brandon Carlson from South Jordan, Utah, 5 blocks. So just for either of you guys or for each of you, like, what message do you think that sends for your team, not just collectively, but Brandon, to the rest of the NIT, like, at all?
We trust BC or any of our bigs to clean the blocks up and stuff down there. We have the best bigs ever, like BC, Lawson, Caba. If somebody gets beat, we trust them to go up there and go get the ball, whether it's a rebound or a crackdown. I think we're just really connected on the defensive end sometimes. We have a little slippage sometimes, of course, but I feel like we have each other's back on the defensive end for the most part.
For both of you guys, just there at the end of that first half, Coach was talking about that set play where Gabe made that first 2-pointer and then that 3 right at the buzzer. Just how big of an important momentum swing was that for you guys to be able to go into the half with that momentum?
Yeah, it's obviously nice to end the half with some momentum, and if that doesn't happen, we might be tied or they could be up if we don't get a stop. So, yeah, it's obviously nice to get some shots to go to. As personally, and going into the half, it's nice to see some shots go down, and then, but yeah, it's obviously, like I said, just nice to get some momentum going in the second half.
It's just a number, but 20 wins. I mean, that marks something. I mean, Craig was saying that a lot of the guys on the roster, I don't know how many, have never had 20 wins in a season. I mean, for you guys personally, what does that mean? Does it mean anything?
Yeah, I mean, I've never been a part of a 21 season, so yeah, like you said, it's just kind of a number, but a lot of people talk about it, so it becomes something. But yeah, it just shows that there's progression here. It's my first year. I don't even know how many wins we had. I think 11. Last year, I think it was 17. So it's just slowly but surely.
Obviously, in a few days, you guys have Iowa coming up next. I mean, I'm not sure if you've seen any tape on them at all, but just for you guys as a team, like based on how you guys performed today or tonight, what do you feel like you guys need more of, and what do you feel like you guys need less of in order to advance?
I feel like we started off pretty slow tonight. Had a little slippage and some errors, but then we played really well at some times, and I just feel like we could have stretched that game out, stretched that lead out somewhere. But looking forward to Iowa, I think if we put together a full game, start off strong, I really feel like teams can't beat us once we put together a full game and everybody's locked in on bought in on the scout and just the game plan and prep. So I think if we take this week, we have some time. We don't know if we play Saturday or Sunday. I think we'll be ready to compete.
I'm curious to get both of your guys' opinions on this, but we've seen Hunter really kind of flourishing these last few games. What have you guys kind of seen from him that's helped develop this confidence?
It was just It was a haircut. No, I mean, I think he's just we all know what he's capable of, and it was just a matter of time, And I think you see now that yeah, he's starting to get that confidence going, and it really changes us for sure. It's just nice to have him come in and be able to knock down shots and space the floor for us. So, but yeah, it's definitely the haircut for sure. That's what it is.
Gabe, I just want to give you the chance to answer what do you need more of or less of?
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna say, I grew up watching Big Ten, so I'm excited to play Iowa for sure. And they play really fast, and they're a high efficiency offensive team, so we're gonna have to be locked in on personnel. And yeah, it's gonna be a big defensive game for us for sure. It's gonna be a fast-paced game, a lot of possession. So definitely get some rest tomorrow, and then come back and ready to look towards Iowa.